Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I would like to welcome all of you to this new Sutta class to start today. And I will try to cover some of the Buddha's fundamental teachings. Today, I'm going to discuss Panchakanda, 5 aggregates, and at the same time, I would like to use the Pali terms and also the Pali text. And I will try to cover like Paticca Samuppada, and also Kamma and Vipaka, Kamma and the results, and also Eightfold Path and Four Noble Truth, all those things, the main teachings of the Buddha. And today I have selected one particular sutta from Samyutta Nikaya. You can see Bhara Sutta. The Pali term is Bhara Sutta. English translation is the burden. Bhara is burden. I'm going to select all the suttas from Sutta Pitaka. Do you know the 3 baskets? There are 3 baskets. The first one. Called Pitaka. Or te also means 3. 3 baskets, 3 baskets. The first one is Sutta, Sutta Pitaka, the Discourses, and the Vinaya, and Abhidhamma. These are the 3 baskets. I'm going to select all the suttas from this Sutta Pitaka. Sutta Pitaka. The Sutta Pitaka have 5 Nikayas. 5 Nikayas. The first one, Digha Nikaya. 5 books. In Mahayana called Agama, Digagama, this one Digha Nikaya. Number 2, Majjhima. Majjhima Nikaya. Number 3, Samyutta. Number 4, Anguttara. Number 5 is Khuddaka. Digha Nikaya with the long discourses. long discourses, 3 chapters, and all suttas, there are 34 suttas. 34 suttas. 34 suttas in Digha Nikaya. Then Majjhima Nikaya, 152 suttas. Then the Samyutta Nikaya, 2,889. Then Anguttara Nikaya, 3,870. And Khuddaka Nikaya, 7 books. There are 7 books. This Samyutta Nikaya, I selected this sutta from Samyutta Nikaya. There are 5 Vaggas, 5 Vaggas, then 56 Samyuttas. Then the sutta like that way. You can see this book, this translation of Samyutta Nikaya. The first part is called Sagata Vagga. Sagata Vagga. Then it has 11 Samyuttas. Then one Samyutta has more than 100 suttas or more than that, 200, 300 that way. And 56 Samyuttas. Like you see the first one, Devata Samyutta, Devaputta Samyutta, Kosala Samyutta, Mara Samyutta, Bhikkhuni Samyutta, Brahma Samyutta. Yes. Devata Samyutta connect the discourses with Devas. Some Devas came to Buddha and discussed the Dhamma. And Devaputta Samyutta, some discourses with young Devas. And Mara Samyutta connected discourses with Mara and connected discourses with Brahma called Brahma Samyutta. And Bhikkhuni Samyutta connected discourses with Bhikkhunis, nuns, like that way, some chapters. And also connected discourses with Khanda. Khanda Samyutta means the aggregates. And Satya Samyutta connected discourses about Satya means the Four Noble Truths, like that way. Groups, connected discourses. Okay. This one, connected discourse on the aggregates. This one, the part 3. Part 3 is Khuddaka. Then Samyutta. That means 22nd Khuddaka. 22nd. And also the Vagga again. Third Vagga. All Maharavagga. Again, Sutta number 26. Part 3 Anguttara, then the 22nd Samyutta, then third Vagga again, Maharavagga, then the 22nd Sutta is Vihara Sutta. Okay. This one, you can see. Beginning with the Savatyang Virati Jetavani Anatha Pindikas Evam Mesutang Ekan Samyan Bhagava Savatyang Virati Jetavani Anatha Pindikas Sarami Tatrako Bhagava Bhikkhua Mantesi Bhikkhavoti, like that way. Beginning with Evam Mesutang Ekan Samyan Bhagava. All the suttas, not all the suttas, some of them, most of them, Buddha explained or delivered in the monastery of Jetavana Monastery. Jetavana Monastery in Savatthi city, in the city of Savatthi. The country called Kosala country. Kosala country, the city is Savatthi. The king was Asenadi Kosala. This time is the ruler, Asenadi Kosala. The monastery called Jetavana Monastery. Jetavana Monastery. And this one built, they spent all the money by Ananda. Buddha stayed there in that monastery 9 years out of his 45 years. His Buddha's hood. 19 years he lived in that monastery, Jetavana Monastery. And also another monastery was there, built by Visakha. I think you know Visakha, the lay female devotee. called Visakha. That monastery called Pubarama. Puba means the eastern part of the city. Aram means monastery. And another name for that called Migaramatu Pasada. Pasada means palace. Migaramatu. Matu means a mother. His father-in-law called her Migaramata, like a mother. The father-in-law called her Mata. Then the father-in-law, his name was Migara. Migara's Mata is Migara Mata, because that father-in-law treated her as a mother, because he is a very virtuous devotee, that's why. Then Pasada means palace. Yes. Built by Migara Mata. Another name for Visakha was Migara Mata. Pubarama or Migara Mata Pasada is the same monastery in the same city. One is Jetavana Monastery, the other one Pubarama or Migaramatu Pasada. Buddha was in Jetavana Monastery 19 years out of his 45 years. And also Buddha gave majority his teachings and discourses in that monastery, Jetavana Monastery. And sometimes he spent daytime in Pubarama and night time in Jetavana Monastery. Night time Pubarama and daytime in Jetavana Monastery, like that way he spent. We will recite this sutta first in Pali. You can see Savatiyang Tatrako Bharancha wo bhikkhave desessami Bharaharancha Bharadhanancha Bharanikkhepanancha Tang sunatha Katamocha bhikkhave bharo Panchupadanakhanda tissa vachaniyang Khatame pancha Rupa Rupupadanakhando Vedanupadanakhando Sanyupadanakhando Sankharupadanakhando Vinyanupadanakhando Ayang uchati bhikkhave bharo. Then Katamocha bhikkhave bharaharo Puggalotis vachaniyang Vahan ayasma Evan namo evan gotto ayang uchati bhikkhave bharaharo Katamancha bhikkhave bharadhanam Yayang tanha pono bhavika nandiraga sahagata Tatra tatra binandini seyati idang kamatanna bhavatanna vibhavatanna idang uchati bhikkhave bharadhanam. Then Katamancha bhikkhave bharanikkhepanam Yo tassa eva tanhaya asesa viraga nirodho chago patinissago mutti analyo idang uchati bhikkhave bharanikkhepanam idam ocha bhagava idam vattvana sugato ataparang etadavocha sattha bhara have panchakhanda Bharaharocha Puggalo, Bharadanang Dukhang Loke, Bharanikepanang Sukhang, Nikipitva Garung Bharang, Anyang Bharang, Anadiya, Samulang, Tanha Mabbuiha, Nichato Pariniputoti. It's a very short discourse. And the translation at Savatthi, there the Blessed One said this: because I will teach you the burden, the carrier of the burden, the taking up of the burden, and the laying down of the burden. Listen to that. And what bhikkhus is the burden? It should be said the 5 aggregates subject to clinging. What 5? The form aggregate subject to clinging, the feeling aggregate subject to clinging, the perception aggregate subject to clinging, the volitional formations aggregate subject to clinging, the consciousness aggregate subject to clinging. This is called the burden. Then number 2, Bharahara. And what bhikkhus is the carrier of the burden? It should be said the person, this Venerable, one of such a name and clan. This is called the carrier of the burden. And what bhikkhus is the taking up of the burden? It is this craving that leads to renewed existence accompanied by delight and lust. Seeking delight here and there, that is, craving for sensual pleasures, craving for existence, craving for extermination. This is called the taking up of the burden. And what bhikkhus? The laying down of the burden. It is the remainless fading away and cessation of that same craving, the giving up and relinquishing of it, freedom from it, non-reliance on it. This is called the lying down of the burden. This is what the Blessed One said. Having said this, the Fortunate One, the teacher, further said this: the 5 aggregates are truly burdens. The burden carrier is the person. Taking up the burden is suffering in the world. Laying the burden down is blissful. Having laid the heavy burden down without taking up another burden, having drawn out craving with its root, one is free from hunger, fully quenched. Translation. Okay, now we can discuss this sutta. This sutta mainly explains 4 things. You can see the bhara in Pali, burden, bharahara, the carry of the burden, bhara adanang, the taking up of the burden, and bhara nikepanang, the laying down of the burden. These 4 things explained in this sutta. The first one, bhara. Bhara is burden, weight, load. Burden, another words we can use in English, weight or load. Burden, weight or load. And bharahara. Bharahara is a carrier of the burden. We can say porter and load carrier, burden bearer. It's a bharahara. Then the number 3 is bhara adanang, the taking up the burden. Number 4, bhara nikepanang, the laying down the burden. Then what is the bhara? According to this sutta, Buddha explained what is the burden or load or weight. Bhara is panchupadana khanda. Pancha upadana khanda. This is a combination word, combined word. There are 3 words. Pancha upadana khanda. Five aggregates, clinging to five aggregates, Panchupadana Khanda. And Khanda aggregates, we can say a heap, a file, a bundle, a trunk. Many English terms for that. Khanda aggregates, a heap also, a heap. And a file, a bundle, a trunk. A heap, a file, then here Buddha says Panchakhanda. Bhara is Panchakhanda, five aggregates. Then also Buddha explain what are those Panchakhanda or five aggregates. Panchu Padanakanda Tissa Vachaniyam Khatame Pancha Rupupadanakkando, Vedanupadanakkando, Sanyupadanakkando, Sankharupadanakkando, Vinyanupadanakkando, Ayang Uchati Bhikkhave, Bharo. These five aggregates are the Bhara. Five. The first one is Rupa Padana. mind and body. The first one, Rupa, body, physical body, and the other four, mind. Mind and body, Panchupadana Khanda. The first one, Rupa, body or matter, we can say matter. Nama, mind. The Rupa Khanda, form. The first one, form, matter or shape. Form, matter or shape. The physical body, including organs of senses. Organs of senses. What are the organs of senses? Chakku, Sota, Gana. I use Pali words first. Chakku, Sota, Gana, Jiva, Kaya. And, Kaya. Then the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. 5 senses. Or we can say 5 doors. 5 Pancha Indriya, 5 doors. 5 senses. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. Then the Nama Khanda, mind. There are 4 Nama Khandas, 4 types of mind. The first one is Vedana, feelings or sensations. Feelings or sensations. And also there are 3 types of feelings. 3 kinds of feelings. Sukha, Dukkha, and Upekkha. Pleasant feelings. Dukkha Vedana, unpleasant feelings. And neutral feelings. 3 kinds of feelings or sensations. Then perceptions. Sanya. Perceptions. Sanya is perceptions. Perceptions means the labeling the objects which we meet through our senses. Sanya, just recognize, just label the things, objects which we meet through our senses. Called perceptions, which comprises all perceptions or recognition. All recognition, whether senses or mental. And we can say it is reaction to sense stimuli, which may be described as awareness with recognition. Perceptions, sanya. Then number 3, sankhara, mental formations. The sankharas signifies and includes all tendencies. Pali term is tendencies is anusaya. All tendencies. What are the tendencies? There are 7 types of tendencies. The first one is kamaraga, sensuous greed. Number 2 is patiga, grudge also. Anusayo. Also we can say inclinations, tendencies or inclinations. The first one is sensuous greed. Number 2 is grudge. Number 3 is speculative opinion. And the other one, skeptical doubt. Mana, next one, conceit. Then bhavaraga, craving for continued existence. The last one is ignorance, dosa, inclinations, 7 types of inclinations. Sensuous greed, grudge, speculative opinion, skeptical doubt, conceit, craving for continued existence, and ignorance. The sankharas signifies and includes all tendencies or inclinations. Mental and physical, the elements of factors in consciousness. All moral and immoral volitional activities or characteristics that have been put in motion by past karma. Also, we can say sankhara, all moral and immoral volitional activities or characteristics that have been put in motion by past karma. Sankharas. Then the last one, consciousness, vijnana. This is inseparably linked with the other 3, sanya, vedana, sanya, sankhara, feelings, perceptions, and sankhara, mental formations, linked with the other mental groups, and also furnishes the bare cognition of the object. Then we can say explanation further. Just as the other groups of existence, vijnana is a flux, a stream of consciousness. Pali called Sota Vijnana. Sota Vijnana. Flux, a stream of consciousness. It does not constitute an abiding mind substance, nor is it a transmigrating entity of soul. In Pali called Chakkuncha Paticca Rupancha Uppajjati Chakku Vijnana. Conditioned through the eye, the visible object, light and attention, eye consciousness arises. Explained in the suttas. I think later we can explain these things. And again, I'll go to the beginning. This is very good simile. Beginning to end. Beginning with Bhara Panchakanda. Panchakanda is the Nama and Rupa, this person, and also end of Nibbana. Bhara Nikepana means lay down the burden, means Nibbana, enlightenment. The first one, Bhara, we call Panchakanda. Bharahara, the person or Puggala, worldly person. Putujjana, worldly person. Bhara Adhanam means craving, tanha. Then Bhara Nikepanam, laid down the burden. And that way. Then the Buddha explained why this kanda is heavy burden. Why this kanda or aggregates are heavy burdens. Why? Can you guess? why this the Panchakanda, this yes, mind and body is burden, heavy burden. This Kanda heavier than other material things. When we think about, it's heavier than material things, heavier than the heavy things like material things. Because we have to feed this Kanda every day. We have to feed. We have to give ahara, nutriments. Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara. When you read some suttas in this same chapter, you can find the nutriments or ahara for these panchakanda. Some food for rupa, some food for feelings we have to feed, and some food for sanya perceptions to survive those panchakanda. We need nutriments, and that's why we have to feed this kanda, and also we have to look after this kanda day and night. We spend a lot of time to look after this kanda or mental and physical body. We have to feed, we have to look after, and also we have to spend entire time to look after this body, birth to death, all life span. And also not only this lifetime, and through the whole sansaric journey, and not only this life, the next life also we have to look after, we have to feed this kanda or panchakanda. That's why this is a burden, the burden. And there's a word here called upadana, pancha upadana kanda. The upadana is clinging. Upadana is clinging or grasping, intensified by tanha. Tanha is craving. Tanha is craving. Craving or desire, and ditti, wrong view of belief. This upadana is clinging or grasping, intensified by tanha, craving or desire, and ditti, wrong view of belief. It therefore connotes a higher degree of attachment. The upadana means a higher degree of attachment. Upadana, clinging, grasping. And there are 4 kinds of upadanas. According to the Dhamma, 4 kinds of upadana. Clinging in manifested in 4 ways. The first one is kama upadana. 4 types of upadana. Four types of upadana. The first one is kama upadana. Kama upadana. Number 2 is ditti upadana. Number 3 is silabbata. The number 4 is Attavada Upadana. This mark is a long A. Kama Upadana. The T, this one, T sound. T sound. Not T sound. T sound. The T. And this one also long. Silabbata and Attavada. This one you see? T, T. The first one, yes, the Kama Upadana means clinging to sensuous objects. Kama Upadana is clinging to sensuous objects. Kama Upadana. Clinging to sensuous objects. Then number 2, Ditti Upadana, clinging to wrong views. Ditti, wrong views. Upadana, clinging to wrong views. Then Silabhata Upadana. Upadana means clinging to Silabhata. There are 2 words, Sila and Vata. Silabhata means the wrong religious practices. Wrong religious practices. Silabhata Upadana, clinging to wrong religious practices. And the last one, Attavada Upadana, clinging to the doctrine of self or ego. Clinging to the doctrine of self or ego. That one also, Upadana. Those are the 4 Upadanas. Sensuous objects, wrong views, wrong religious practices, and the doctrine of self or ego. The first one, Rupa Upadana. When the eyes sees an object distinctly, when the nose smells its fragrance, when the tongue finds its tasteful, and when the body feels pleasant touch, pleasurable sensations arise, and the attachment not only to our own body but also to bodies of others is developed. And we attracted to our own good features and also to those of other people. Because of this attachment to our own material or physical body, there arises in us the notion, it is I, it is mind, it is my son, this is my wife, husband, etc. This is motivated by our clinging to rupa or matter or body, and it is known as Kama Upadana. Then Vedana, number 2, Vedana Upadana, clinging to feelings. Number 2, Vedana Upadana. As senses come into contact with objects, sensations arise to which we cling. I feel, I have, I see, I am well, I am not well, I am suffering, I am danger. He thinks that in all such cases, I or self is involved. In other words, he thinks that all sensations he experiences are his and that therefore they constitute I or self. This is how clinging to Vedana. And the third one is Sanya Upadana, clinging to perceptions. Clinging to perceptions arises in much the same way. When a man perceives an object, he thinks that it is he who perceives it. So he declares, I perceive it, I note it, I remember it. So I can recall it to my mind. This is how one gets attached to perception, which becomes personified as I or mind. I or mind. Then Sankhara Upadana, volitional activities determine our physical and mental behavior. Although all our actions are conditioned by volition, a person thinks that it is he who is doing things. So he say, I sit, I stand, I think, I imagine, I am angry, I am attached to it, I have no faith, I am foolish. All these go to show that he takes all groups of mental states as his self. This is how clinging to Sankhara arises. The last one, Vijñānupadana Khandha. When a man sees an object, he at once recognizes it. I know it, he says. Thus the notion I arises in him. He says, I see it, I hear it, taste it, I smell it. He is thus equaling himself with his atta or self. This is how clinging to vijnana arises. There are some suttas in Samyutta Nikaya explain the Panchakanda. I would like to read some of them. This sutta number 54. Sutta number 54, the name is Seeds. Seeds Sutta. The same chapter, this Bhara Sutta and the Seeds Sutta in same chapter. The Bhara Sutta number is 22nd, this one 54. I will read it for you. At Savatthi, because there are these 5 kinds of seeds. What 5? Or root seeds, stem seeds, joint seeds, cut-in seeds, and germ seeds as the 5th. If these 5 kinds of seeds are unbroken, unspoiled, undamaged by wind, the sun, fertile, securely planted, but there is no earth or water, would these 5 kinds of seeds come to growth, increase and expansion? No, Venerable Sir. If these 5 kinds of seeds are broken, spoiled, damaged by wind and sun, unfertile, not securely planted, but there is earth and water, would these 5 kinds of seeds come to growth, increase and expansion? No, Venerable Sir. If these 5 kinds of seeds are unbroken, unspoiled, undamaged by wind and sun, fertile, securely planted, and there is earth and water. Would these 5 kinds of seeds come to growth, increase and expansion? Yes, Venerable Sir. Because the 4 stations of consciousness should be seen as like the earth element. Delight and lust should be seen as like the water element. Consciousness together with its nutriment should be seen as like the 5 kinds of seeds. Consciousness, because while standing, might stand engaged with form, based upon form, established upon form. With a sprinkling of delight, it might come to growth, increase and expansion. Or consciousness, while standing, might stand engaged with feeling, engaged with perception, engaged with volitional formations, based upon volitional formations, established upon volitional formations. With sprinkling of delight, it might come to growth, increase and expansion. Because through someone might say, apart from form, apart from feeling, apart from perception, apart from volitional formations, I will make known the coming and going of consciousness, its passing away and rebirth, its growth, increase and expansion. That is impossible. Because if a bhikkhu has abandoned lust for the form element, with the abandoning of lust, the basis is cut off. There is no support for the establishing of consciousness. If he has abandoned lust for the feeling element, for the perception element, for the volitional formations element, for the consciousness element, with the abandoning of lust, the basis is cut off. There is no support for the establishing of consciousness. When that consciousness is unestablished, not coming to growth, non-generative, it is liberated. By being liberated, it is steady. By being steady, it is content. By being content, he is not agitated. Being unagitated, he personally attains Nibbana. He understands destroyed is birth. The holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. And another sutta, sutta number, this one 54, 57 also explain about this Panchakanda. 57, the sutta called the 7 cases. At Savatthi again, because a bhikkhu who is skilled in 7 cases and a triple investigator is called in the Dhamma and discipline. A consummate one who has fully lived the holy life, the highest kind of person. And how bhikkhus is a bhikkhu skilled in 7 cases? Here, because a bhikkhu understand form, its origin, its cessation, and the way of leading to its cessation. He understands the gratification, the danger, and escape in the case of form. These are the 7 cases about Rupa. Understands the form and its origin, its cessation, and the way leading to its cessation, and he understands the gratification and the danger, and the finally escape in the case of form. And another good sutta in Theri Gatha. Theri Gatha, Theri is nuns, poems of nuns. The Theri Gatha called Vajra, Theri Gatha, Vajra. This Theri Vajra, there was a conversation with nun Vajra and Mara. And Mara asked, who creates beings? Who creates beings? Where is the creator? Where does the creature arise? Where does he vanish? Who creates the beings? Where is the creator? Where does the creature arise? Where does he vanish? Then to these questions, Theri Vajra, the female Arahant, replied like this: what Mara do you think is a being? What do you think is a wrong view? It is not. What is generally thought a being is but a heap of khandhas. Being is a heap of khandhas or aggregates in a state of flux, otherwise called sankhara. You cannot find the being in the sankhara. I shall give you an example. When the wheels, axles, and other parts are assembled, the assemblage becomes known by the word chariot. In the same way, when the five constituents of Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara and Vijnana are grouped together, the group comes to be named a being or sattva. Indeed, there is no being but suffering that comes into being, that continues to establish itself as a being and passes away. Nothing but suffering exists. Nothing but suffering passes away. When we use the expression that someone comes into being, the someone referred to is not the individual, but the suffering inherent in the five khandhas. What has been established as someone is not the individual, but a load of suffering. And in the same way, what has passed away is also a load of suffering that is inherent in khandhas. Like the part of chariot, we can't say to wheel, this is chariot, or axle, this is chariot. All together we can say chariot. And we can take any other examples, anything. Then the acceptance of burden. According to the teaching of the Buddha, no one ever imposed the burden on us. It is the individual himself who likes to accept it. No one do it. No one does it. And the Bhara Adanam, taking up of the burden, called Katha Mancha Bhikkave Bharadanam. What is that makes us carry the burden? Then the Buddha said, Tanha, craving. Yes, Tanha makes us carry the burden. What is the taking up the burden? Tanha makes us carry the burden. Tanha, craving, desire. Tanha is the craving of desire. It is very much like hunger and thirst. Sometimes Buddha used those two words, hunger and thirst. It yearns or accept for pleasant, wholesome and beautiful objects. This tanha yearns for pleasant, wholesome and beautiful objects always. It is never satisfied with them, and it is always hungry for them. And having seen pleasurable things, it desires to see other things. And also the other organ, sota, it likes to hear sweet music. The ears and the nose, it likes to enjoy fragrant smell. And the tongue, jivha, likes to enjoy good taste. And the body likes to feel pleasant touch. And the mana, the mind, wants to think or imagine about good subject. And there are three folds of tanha, three kinds of tanha. Three kinds of tanha. Tanha, bhavatanha and bhavatanha. Kamatanha, bhavatanha and vibhavatanha. Three types of craving or desires. First one, kamatanha, craving for sensual pleasures. Kamatanha, craving for sensual pleasures. Bhavatanha, craving for existence. Existence. Number three is this bhavatanha related to satsata ditthi, eternalistic view of existence. Satsata ditthi. Eternalistic view of existence. Live forever. The physical part of the body may become decayed or destroyed, but the spiritual part of it lives as it migrates from one body to the other, giving rise to a new entity. The universe may get destroyed, but the spirit or living substance lives on. It is permanent, it is eternal. Like the view of eternal. Yes, sassata ditti. Sassata, sasvata. Eternalistic view of existence, bhavatanha. Then the third one, vibhavatanha. This one related to ucheda ditti. other side of eternalistic, annihilation, nihilistic. Uchedadita is a belief in no hereafter. Everything perishes after death. A teacher called Ajita Kesa Kambala in Buddha's time. There were six teachers in Buddha's time. One of those it's called Ajita Kesa Kambala or Ajita Kesa Kambali. He says like this: an individual is made up of primary elements of earth, water, fire and air. An individual is made up of primary elements. Pataviyapo, Tejo, Vayo, Po types of elements: earth, water, fire and air. When he dies, a person dies, the earth element goes into the mass of the earth. The water element flows into the mass of water. The fire element changes into heat. The air element flows into the mass of air. His teaching. All organs of the senses are seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching and thinking disappear into space. When an individual, be he a wise man or a fool, dies, his body is destroyed and annihilated. Nothing is left after death. This is his teaching, Ajita Kesa Kambali. This is annihilation. That is we call Vibhava Tanha. Kama Tanha, Bhava Tanha and Vibhava Tanha. And again, one sutta is explaining the tanha, craving, in this same chapter. Sutta number 99. The leash. Explain the tanha or craving. There are two suttas in same name. The first one, the leash at Savatthi, because the sansara is without discoverable beginning. A first point is not discerned of beings roaming and wandering, unhindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. There comes a time because when the great ocean dries up and evaporates and no longer exists. But still I say, there is no making an end of suffering for those beings roaming and wandering, unhindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. There comes a time because when Sineru, the king of mountains, burns up and perishes and no longer exists. But still I say, there is no making an end of suffering for those beings roaming and wandering, unhindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. There comes a time because when the great earth burns up and perishes and no longer exists, but still I say, there is no making an end of suffering for those beings roaming and wandering, unhindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. Suppose, the simile, suppose bhikkhus, a dog tied up on a leash was bound to a strong post or pillar. It would just keep on running and revolving around that same post or pillar. So too, the uninstructed worldling regards form as self, feeling as self, perception as self, volitional formations as self, consciousness as self. He just keeps running and revolving around form, around feeling, around perception, around volitional formations, around consciousness. As he keeps on running and revolving around them, he is not freed from form, not freed from feeling, not freed from perception, not freed from volitional formations, not freed from consciousness. He is not freed from birth, aging, and death, not freed from sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair, not freed from suffering, I say. But the instructed noble disciple does not regard form as self, no feeling as self, no perception as self, no volitional formations as self, no consciousness as self. He no longer keeps running and revolving around form, around feeling, around perception, around volitional formations, around consciousness. As he no longer keeps running and revolving around them, he is freed from form, freed from feeling, freed from perception, freed from volitional formations, freed from consciousness. He is freed from birth, aging, death, freed from sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair, freed from suffering, I say. The last part of this sutta, the Buddha explained bharanikepanam, throwing down the burden or the laying down of the burden. As soon as tanha is rejected, the burden will fall off. As soon as tanha is rejected, the burden will fall off from one's shoulder. And the rejection can be effected through the application of knowledge relating to these two. One is vipassana bhavana or vidassana bhavana, and the other one practicing noble path. One is vidassana bhavana, insight meditation, the other one realization of eightfold path, noble path, to falling down this burden. And tanha vanishes from such knowledge and darkness extinguish. Then there shall be no cause for the khandhas to arise. When we realize through vipassana meditation or through eightfold path, we can put down or fall down this burden from us. Then arahanta magga, the path of arahant, brings about complete annihilation of all forms of craving or tanha. At the stage of anagami magga, anagami, third one, sotapanna, sakadagami, and anagami, third one, the path of non-returner, all cravings for sensual pleasures of lust or kamaraga is also extinguished. And I will explain how to reduce or vanish or eradicate our fetters or sangyojanas. When we practice the noble path, there are 10 fetters. We call dasa sangyojana. Personality, belief, personality, belief. No need to write. Personality, belief, sakkaya. Then number 2, vichikicha. Vichikicha. Doubt. Skeptical doubt. Number 3, Silabbata Paramasa. Silabbata Paramasa. Silabbata Paramasa is clinging to mere rules and rituals. Rituals and rules, or rules and rituals. Rules and rituals. Then number 4 is Kama Raga. Kama Raga, sensuous craving. Sensuous craving. Number 5, Vyapada. Vyapada. Then number 6 is Ruparaga. This one Ruparaga. Number 7, Aruparaga. Number 8, Mana. Mana, conceit. Vyapada, ill will. The Ruparaga craving for fine material existence. Ruparaga craving for fine material existence. Ruparaga craving for fine material existence. Then Aruparaga craving for immaterial existence. Material existence, immaterial existence. Immaterial, I-M. This called higher fitters. Higher fitters. Lower fitters and higher fitters. These five try to sensuous world, and these five one to five try to sensuous world. And these five try to higher worlds. Material, fine material and immaterial world. Fine material and immaterial world. Fine material. Fine material and immaterial world. Fine material and immaterial worlds. One, two, three, then. One, two, three, this. One, two, three. The stream winner, the stream winner or stream enterer, the Sotapanna. 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 P-A-N-N-A, Sotapanna. The stream winner. Now free from these three. Free from these three. 1, 2, 3. Sakkaya Ditthi Vicca and Silabbata Paramasa. So the stream winner or stream enterer free from these three. And the second one, the Sakadagami. 4 and 5. Sakadagami. One returner. Sakadagami. And one's returner. He comes to this world only once. That's why Sakad. Agami means comes. Once returner. Yes. Overcome their grosser form, these two. Just weaken these two. Not totally eradicate or destroy. Just weaken these 4 and 5. Kamaraga and Vyapaka. the last one, Arahant. Destroy all the 10 fetters. One, two, three. Destroy. Conceit. Yes, all the fetters. And I would like to read another sutta in this Samyutta Nikaya, in same chapter, explain these 5 aggregates with the examples. The sutta number 79. The sutta called devoured, D-E-V-O-U-R-E-D, devoured, being devoured, B-E-I-N-G, being devoured. At Savatthi, because those ascetics and Brahmins who recollect their manifold past abodes all recollect the 5 aggregates subject to clinging or a certain one among them. What 5? When recollecting thus, because I had such form is the past, it is just form that one recollects. When recollecting, I had such a feeling in the past, it is just feeling that one recollects. When recollecting, I had such a perception in the past, it is just perception that one recollects. When recollecting, I had such volitional formation in the past, it is just volitional formations that one recollect. When recollecting, I had such consciousness in the past, it is just consciousness that one recollects. And why? Because do you call it form? Why? Because do you call it form? It is deformed. It is deformed because therefore it is called form. Deformed by what? Deformed by cold, deformed by heat, deformed by hunger, deformed by thirst, deformed by contact with flies, mosquitoes, wind, sun, and serpents. It is deformed because therefore it is called form. And why? Because do you call it feeling? It feels because therefore it is called feeling. And what does it feel? It feels pleasure, it feels pain, it feels neither pain nor pleasure. It feels because therefore it is called feeling. And why? Because do you call it perception? It perceives because therefore it is called perception. And what does it perceives? It perceives blue it perceives yellow, it perceives red, it perceives white, it perceives because therefore it is called perception. And why because do you call them volitional formations? They construct the conditioned because therefore they are called volitional formations. And what is the condition? What they construct? They construct conditioned form as form. They construct conditioned feelings as feelings. They construct conditioned perception as perception. They construct conditioned volitional formations as volitional formations. They construct conditioned consciousness as consciousness. They construct the conditioned because therefore they are called volitional formations. And why? Because do you call it consciousness? It cognizes because therefore it is called consciousness. And what does it cognize? It cognizes sour, it cognizes bitter, it cognizes pungent, it cognizes sweet, cognizes sharp, cognizes mild, it cognizes salty, it cognizes bland, it cognizes because therefore it's called consciousness. Therein because the instructed noble disciples reflects thus, I am now being devoured by form. In the past too, I was devoured by form in the very same way that I am now being devoured by present form, like that way. And another sutta explain the put down the burden so attain Nibbana in this sutta number 76, sutta number 76 in this same chapter, the discourse Arahant, the name is Arahant. Some stanzas explain an Arahant. Before that, I would like to read another sutta. This is very good. Buddha explained it with similes. Sutta number 95. 95. Chapter 22nd, sutta number 95. The sutta called a lump of form. A lump of form. A lump of form. This one Buddha explained in another place. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Ayodhya on the bank of the river Ganges. There the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus thus: Bhikkhus, suppose that this river Ganges was carrying along a great lump of form. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in a lump of form? So too, because whatever kind of form there is, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, a bhikkhu inspects it, ponders it, and carefully investigates it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial, for what substance could there be in form? Then the next one, suppose because that in the autumn, when it is raining and big rain drops are falling, a water bubble rises and bursts on the surface of the water. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him be in a water bubble. So too, because whatever kind of feelings there is, whether past, future, or present, internal or external, grosso, subtle, inferior, superior, far or near, a bhikkhu inspects it, ponders it, and carefully investigates it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial, for what substance could there be in feeling? Then number 3, perception. The suppose, because that in the last month of the hot season, at high noon, a shimmering mirage appears. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, substantial, for what kind of perception there is, whether past, future, or present, internal or external, so forth. Bhikkhus inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him be void, hollow, insubstantial. Then the number 4, suppose because that a man needing hardwood, seeking hardwood, wandering in searching of hardwood, would take a sharp axe and enter a forest. There he would see the trunk of a large plantain tree, a straight, fresh, without a fruit bud core. He would cut it down at the root, cut off the crown, and unroll the coil. As he unrolls the coil, he would not find even soft wood, let alone hardwood. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. That way, the last one. Suppose because that a magician or a magician's apprentice would display a magical illusion at a crossroads. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial, like that way. Seen thus because the instructed noble disciple experiences revulsion towards form, revulsion towards feeling, revulsion towards perception, revulsion towards volitional formations, revulsion towards consciousness. Experiencing revulsion, he becomes dispassionate. Through dispassion, his mind is liberated. When it is liberated, there comes the knowledge. It's liberated. He understands, destroyed his birth. The holy life has been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of beings. And some stanzas explain the arahantship. That one, the sutta number 76. Sutta number 76, chapter 22nd, 26. Like this. Happy indeed are the arahants. No craving can be found in them. Cut off is the conceit, I am. Burst asunder is delusion's net. They have reached the unstirred state. Limpid are their minds. They are unsullied in the world, the holy ones without taints. Having fully understood the 5 aggregates, ranging in the 7 good qualities, those praiseworthy superior men are the Buddha's bosom sons, endowed with the 7 gems. Trained in the threefold training, those great heroes wander about with fear and trembling abandoned. Endowed with the 10 fetters, those great nagas concentrated are the best beings in the world. No craving can be found in them. The adept's knowledge has arisen in them. This body is the last I bear. In regard to the core of the holy life, they no longer depend on others. They do not waver in discrimination. They are released from renewed existence. Having reached the stage of the tamed, they are the victors in the world. Above, across, and below, delight is no more found in them. They bodily sound their lions roar, boldly sound their lions roar. The enlightened are supreme in the world. Okay. Then the sutta explain 4 things. What are the 4 things? Bhara, burden. What are the burdens? 5 skandhas, the burden. 5 aggregates. No, clinging to 5 aggregates, not 5 panchakanda. Pancha upadanakanda is the burden. Clinging to 5 aggregates as the burden. And bharahara, who is the carrier, who is the porter of the burden. Who is the porter? The person, the puggala. Puggala is the panyati, the name. And the bara adanang. Bara adanang, number 3. That is tanha, this craving. And the last one, to fall down this burden, we have to destroy the craving, the tanha. You see, yes, the tanha is pono bhavika nandiraga sahagata. Tatra tatrabi nandini in Pali. Pono bhavika nandiraga sahagata. Tatra tatrabi nandini. Yes, the 3rd passage. Katamancha bhikkhave bharadanang yayantanna pono bhavika nandiraga sahagata tatra tatrabhinandini. Pono bhavika, this tanha or craving leads to renewed existence. Pono bhavika, then nandiraga sahagata, and tatra tatrabhinandini, renewed existence accompanied by delight and lust. Seek in delight here and there. Tatra tatrabhinandini. Okay. Do you have any questions to ask? If you can remember, like Pali terms, 10 fetters, Sakkaya Ditthi Vicikicca, Silabbata Paramasa, Kamaraga, like that. And also Kamaraga, Ruparaga, or Kamatanna, Bhavatanna, Vibhata is better. If not, even in English, you can remember. like a four. Yeah. Emptiness. Yes, that's why no use the last one. Say this like a, you have to see it as a hollow emptiness, this rupa. No, like a lump of form. This body, like physical body, rupa, as a lump of form. Otherwise, we attach to it. That means tanha. Then tanha is the creator of this existence. For long and long time, creates the samsara. And also feeling like a bubble, no permanent. Feelings like a pleasant feeling appear and disappear. The next time, maybe unpleasant feeling, no permanent things. And also they give suffering. Then the pleasant feeling gives like pleasure for a while, and unpleasant feeling gives suffering or pain, and also not permanent and not my. If it is my, then I can control it. I can keep the pleasant feeling always, but we can't keep it. It's not mine, that's why. Not my and also not mine. If it is mine, I can control it. Yeah. Yes, yes. Up to, the first stage, Sotapanna, and Sakadagami, up to Anagami, you can stay as a lay person. Yeah. Even like Anathapindika and some other lay people, they attain the Sotapanna, Sakadagami, and Anagami. And when you become an Arahant, you can't stay at home or you can't spend lay life. Until that, yes, you can practice Sila and you can practice the Bhavana, Samatha Bhavana and Vidassana Bhavana. Sila, the Sila, Samadhi, Panya, we can divide it, the Eightfold Path into three groups, Sila, Samadhi and Panya. You can practice those three. Practice morality, you can practice Samatha meditation and also Vidassana meditation as a lay person. Can, yes. Yeah. Yes, you can, yeah. I think when you realize that person's behavior, especially some people are very calm, not hot-tempered, very calm, and also love to others, like practicing loving kindness and compassion, and very generous. Those are the good qualities, I think, the virtuous people we can recognize. Some people, just one word is enough. to quarrel or fight or shout. No patience, no compassion, and yeah. Okay, yes. You know this Samyutta Nikaya, the Samyutta called Khanda Samyutta. When you go to this one, Khanda Samyutta, all the suttas explain Khanda means the aggregates. And also some chapters in you, like you see. Some suttas in Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Yes, we can find some. Just I came from Sri Lanka, then not enough time to read other suttas. That's why I selected one suttas from the Samyutta Nikaya and the other suttas in the same chapter. Yes. When you when you type and go through the internet, you can find some suttas. Just Panchakanda, then you can find some suttas. Yeah. Now everything is in yes. When you go to Sutta Central, you can find the Pali text